On the one hand, Donald Trump threatens and attacks federal judge Tanya Chutkan, who's presiding over the Washington, D.C. federal prosecution of Trump's attempt to overthrow the results of the 2020 election. And on the other hand, Donald Trump begs federal judge Tanya Chutkan for a favor, for an extension of time to stay and delay all of the proceedings while he files his frivolous motions. That's called sociopathic, malignant, narcissistic behavior that is manifested in the courtroom. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network, and I want to talk about how Donald Trump is now begging Judge Tanya Chutkan for delays. We all know that's Donald Trump's MO, delay, and special counsel Jack Smith's team pointed that out to all of the various judges that they really only have one move. I don't know if you ever watched a basketball game or play basketball, but when I grew up and I was playing basketball, when we'd find out that someone could only dribble with their right hand, we would know they only got one move, right? And so you would adjust your body so they would have to go in the other way, then you'd steal the ball. Special counsel Jack Smith kind of knows that when it comes to Donald Trump, and all of the federal judges, other than Judge Eileen Cannon, seem to realize that as well, that Trump's really only got one move. I mean, he threatens and attacks, he huffs and he puffs and says he's going to blow your house down, but he's really a wannabe emperor fascist with absolutely no clothes. And then he just seeks to delay. And then he hopes he just wears you out by putting all of this money, not to actually defend himself, but to delay. So here's what Donald Trump just filed in federal court before Judge Tanya Chutkan. Donald Trump's opposed motion to stay the case pending resolution of the motion to dismiss based on presidential immunity. We covered here on the MeidasTouch network how Donald Trump had filed a motion a week or two ago saying that he's entitled to absolute immunity for leading an insurrection. He says it's within the outside parameters of what the constitutional duty is of a United States president. And as special counsel Jack Smith has said, one, you're a former president, and by the way, you disgraced the office. And number two, trying to destroy the Constitution would not fall within the outer perimeter or parameters of what the constitutional duties are of a president or former president. I mean, just think about this, folks. He wants to avail himself of constitutional immunity that doesn't exist for trying to overthrow the results of a free and fair election and destroy the Constitution. It's a completely and utterly frivolous argument. But now what Donald Trump's saying is, Judge, you need to stop this entire proceeding. Stay it. Pause all the deadlines. Delay everything. Donald Trump's strategy, delay, because I filed this frivolous immunity motion. Here's what Donald Trump writes. Donald Trump respectfully requests that this court, not so respectfully requests that this court stay all proceedings in this case until the issues raised in his motion to dismiss the indictment based on presidential immunity are fully resolved. And then Donald Trump goes on to cite, he goes, the Supreme Court has repeatedly stressed the importance of resolving immunity questions at the earliest possible stage in litigation. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that you should stay the entire case, even if that's the quote that you cherry picked from the Supreme Court, because official immunity is, quote, an immunity from suit rather than a mere defense to liability. It is effectively lost if a case is erroneously permitted to go to trial. For this reason, substantial claims of immunity should be resolved prior to discovery. In other words, shut down the case, shut down discovery until, Judge, you rule on the issue of presidential immunity. Immunity ordinarily should be decided by the court long before trial. Again, the judge is going to decide long before the trial. Nothing here about staying the case. Trump goes on to say, that is because immunity is an entitlement not to stand trial or face the other burdens of litigation. Just think about in the motion Trump's talking about, I'm entitled. I could overthrow the government and I'm entitled to immunity. I don't want to face a jury. goes on to say, here, Donald Trump has moved to dismiss based on absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for acts within the outer perimeter of his presidential responsibilities. Can you believe that that's what they're arguing? That the insurrection was in the outer perimeter of his presidential responsibilities? Just think about how horrific those implications are.
Being on top of your mental health game is so important. And as you know, we here at the MeidasTouch Network are working around the clock. And it's easy to fall into bad habits or routines because, well, life gets in the way, especially with your diet. Frankly, I think most people can relate. Everyday life does get in the way, making it challenging to find a healthy snack without all the sugar and junk. Now, if you're busy and constantly on the go like me, you need to try Mosh. It's a protein bar made for your brain. With 6 delicious flavors, each Mosh bar includes 12 grams of protein and is made with ingredients that support brain health like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, and omega-3s. At 160 calories and only 1 gram of sugar, Mosh protein bars are the guilt-free snack your brain and body will crave. Your brain is your number one tool, which is why Mosh protein bars were mindfully formulated by some of the top neuroscientists and functional nutritionists. Mosh now has a new line of plant-powered protein bars in 3 delicious flavors for those who want all of the protein and brain support of the original bar, now made with plant-based ingredients. I have a Mosh bar literally every day to kick off my morning, and it has totally improved my performance. I love the taste, especially of the peanut butter Mosh bar. Delicious. Not to mention the packaging, it makes it super easy to take them with me if I ever find myself hungry between meetings. Don't settle for a mediocre snack when you can nourish your body and mind with the fuel it needs to succeed. So whether you're at the gym, on the go, or living your best life, Mosh protein bars will keep your brain fit, fueled, and feeling good. Head to moshlife.com/Meidas to save 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack, which includes all 6 mouth-watering flavors. moshlife.com/Meidas.
It goes on to say, the prosecution has submitted in response and Trump has replied. The court has set oral argument. The immunity motion is therefore fully briefed and ripe for determination. However, the court has not indicated when it intends to issue an order. And then it says, Trump should not be required to endure the burden of defending himself. That's a direct quote that they say. He should not endure the burden. Our country should not endure the burden of having someone who wants to overthrow our democracy make a mockery of our court system. How dare you whine about Donald Trump's burden? So that's Donald Trump's motion right there. What this hints at, though, where Trump is going with this, Judge Chutkan is going to reject this swiftly. She's going to reject his presidential immunity motion. That's going to be denied. But here's what Trump's going to do next. You can tell their strategy from their motion. What they're going to try to do next is they're going to go to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals after it's denied, and then they're going to seek a stay from the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, hope that they draw a 3-judge panel that has some Trumpers on it that will agree to stay the case pending the ruling on an issue of immunity. And then if that fails, then Trump, here's my prediction, goes to the United States Supreme Court, requests emergency relief from the United States Supreme Court. And that is Trump's strategy here by bringing the presidential immunity motion to try to delay this Washington, D.C. case from going to trial in March of 2024. So watch out for that happening right there. In the same case, Donald Trump also filed an opposed motion. When I'm saying opposed motion, it means special counsel Jack Smith is opposing it. Trump's opposed motion for extension of time to file pretrial motions related to discovery and subpoenas. And here Trump says, this court previously set a deadline of November 9th, 2023 for Trump to file motions for subpoenas and motions to compel. Trump has worked in good faith to comply with this deadline. Oh, such good faith, really. Good faith. You threatened witnesses. You violated gag orders during the time it was stayed, so it technically wasn't a violation, but you threatened witnesses. You threatened the judge. In what world is your behavior any modicum of good faith? How absurd is that? And then Trump says, having worked with good faith to comply with the deadlines, but he's unable to meet the deadlines given the enormity of discovery and the time required to confer with the prosecution. Rather than maintain this inflexible global deadline, Trump respectfully requests the court adopt a protocol laid out below. And this protocol laid out below moves a lot of the dates and deadlines. But the goal here is to ultimately move the trial date. So it's a two-pronged strategy by Donald Trump here. Make this claim to stay on immunity grounds while the immunity motion's pending. He knows he's going to lose, but then he's going to, after he loses, he's going to try to seek an appeal with the D.C. Circuit and then hope that the Supreme Court does him a solid. Ultimately, the judge who oversees, the justice who oversees the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals is John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And so we'll see what action happens there. So watch that. And then separately make this request, which is going to get denied, to move all of the global deadlines back, as he likes to describe it here. Judge Chutkan's not going to stand for it. She will almost certainly reject this. Judge Cannon, on the other hand, though, if you watch what's going on in the Southern District of Florida, I'll do other hot takes on that, but we've been discussing it on Legal AF and our other shows. Judge Cannon eats this stuff up. She loves when Donald Trump says delay, delay, delay. And she does something where she doesn't necessarily make the order for a delay, but she's like, well, I think I'll do a delay, but doesn't make the order because she doesn't want to be appealed and thereby delays all the deadlines and just completely butchers her own docket. I'll do another hot take on that. In the meantime, hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers here on the MeidasTouch Network. And if you want to support the work we're doing and our independent journalism over at MeidasTouch.com, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. That's patreon.com/MeidasTouch, and have an excellent day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.